Hello. We are finally here. We finally have our AEW video game, AEW Fight Forever. We've been waiting years since this was first announced that it was gonna come out, and boy howdy, is it here. I'm going to give a review of this from the point of view of someone who isn't really good at video games. And someone who's especially not good at combat video games. Things like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, which this has a lot of the same feeling of that. I have the sound turned off because all of it is copywritten, but one of the first things that you can do once you kind of enter this initial screen here is you can, come on, over here, you can look at all of the options. So as you can see, I have already played this game aplenty, but I want to give you a rundown of the bare bones before I kind of get into the deeper shit that I've done. So, first things first, let's look at settings. The settings, you've got a stats board here, where you can look at the stats of your wrestler, you can look at how you're doing in exhibition, you can look at how you're doing in ranked. I haven't done any ranked matches, just because I am afraid to, but yeah, you can see in exhibition how you're doing. I've had 0 5-star matches, that tracks. You can look up match records, which are the stats, basically, of all the matches that you're going to have or that you are going to participate in. Alright, now you can go down here to Championship Management. This kind of has a very similar feel to the WWE Raw vs. SmackDown games. I'm pretty much going to compare this a lot to Raw vs. SmackDown 2009 because that's my favorite WWE game, and you know, while the two can't be directly compared because obviously they're going for different styles, they're going for different play experiences, I feel like that's what most people are going to be thinking about coming into this game. So you can set your own champions here, and you can even make your own custom character, the champions, etc. So, you know, pretty typical. Jukebox, this is a fun one. So you can control the music that you hear. Over here you've got a song library where you can add songs over into your playlist. So, you know, I think the game starts out with mostly music from the acclaimed, with Max Caster and all that. No offense, Max Caster, I'm not a huge fan. So I added over a lot of the Superstars entrance music that I wanted to listen to. Now for support, you've just got the credits, privacy policy, you can report a player from this screen, and tutorial archive, so you can go back and revisit any tutorials that you don't really remember, which is really helpful for people like me who have a goldfish memory. So now let's look at this first tab. We're going to look at Exhibition. In Exhibition, you can choose to be any original character that you have created or any preset character. So, essentially, I'll get into which characters are included in this game in a second, but you can do a one-on-one exhibition, and it can be normal, lights out, falls count anywhere match. You can do 2-on-2, 3-way match, 4-way match. You can do the Casino Battle Royale, which you can have group suit and solo suit, which I guess means you can enter as a team or just as you. Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match, Ladder Match, and then you can do the mini-games from here. These mini-games are also included in the Road to the Elite, which is the story mode included in this video game. And you can do training. Training is what I'm going to show you now. So you can choose to be any character you want. We are going to be the good old Kenny Omega, if I can find him. Where is my boy? There he is. We're going to play as Kenny Omega. And This is pretty much what I use to get used to the controls initially, and I think this is probably what a lot of people are going to use to get used to the controls. So let's do a good Kenny versus Orange Cassidy. So it's going to be you versus a computer. So here you can see the fighting mechanics. So because this is training, Orange isn't going to do anything to me. He's just going to kind of chill there. Also, I have this set on easy mode, so, you know, it's going to be pretty simple for the purposes of this tutorial. So you've got a bunch of different moves. One thing I will say about this game is that, boy howdy, is there just a plethora of moves that you can use in any combination. Like, when I show you character creation, you're going to be astounded. And I think that really goes to show that the main focus of this game right now is the combat. This is the main draw of the game because there's just so much that you can do to, like, and involved in the matches. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. So first, you can grapple. So I'm on a keyboard, grapple is K, and you can do moves within grappling. Whee! Cross-legged neck breaker. You can attack your opponent while they're on the ground, or if you want, you can pick them up off the ground so that you can continue beating their ass. You can do forward strikes, so like strong strikes like that, get your opponent out of the ring. You can enter and exit the ring. You can do a bunch of, like, you know, ringside moves like that. Boom. Boom. Yeah, so, I mean, this is just a very basic rundown of what a lot of this looks like. Oh, Orange, honey, why you gotta be looking like that? Alright, well, really what I'm gonna try and do right now is show you what it looks like when their signature comes up. So I'm gotta hit a couple more moves first. Get him nice and beaten down. But yeah, like I was saying, there's a ton of combinations that you can do. Like if I grapple, I can do an Irish whip with him, send him against the apron. I can do one of these numbers. And I can knock him into the steel steps. That's fun. Do a strong attack. And so here, your signature is going to come up. Now your signature is going to be your signature move. Whoa! Look at that! So I'm going to hit number 2 signature, and that is going to give me, ba-doom, my V-trigger power bomb. Now, if you do a taunt while your signature is up, you get moved into special. And what special is you can use your finisher. Kenny's finisher, obviously, One-Winged Angel. And so once your opponent is in the danger category and you are in the ring, you can pin them for a 1, 2, 3. Boom. Alright, so yeah, once you see that little red rectangle, square, I didn't learn math, alright? Once you see this little number right here in the corner of Orange's name tag, that's when you know that you can pin them. They are very injured. And from training, and from any match actually, you can go to the pause screen where you can control the difficulty of the computer. Oh, I'm on normal. I'm not even on easy. Oh my goodness, look how good I am. You can adjust if you take damage or not. So take no damage, you can put on if you're literally just trying to learn move combinations, which is typically what I try and do. Wrestler momentum, your momentum is whatever your default is. So you can permanently have your signature ready to go, you can permanently have your special ready to go, or you can just stay on default and let your HP build up to that point. Another thing you can do is go to the options screen, which will, this is basically your typical options just for gameplay. So you can control audio, what region you're in that's making the match. You can change the units of, you know, how tall or how heavy your wrestler is going to be. You can turn on blood, things like that. So, I mean, really, you can customize your experience very, very minutely in this game. You can adjust controls, so I am playing on keyboard, and initially I tried to change it to make it more like Genshin. That didn't really work out very well for me, and one thing that I will say about this game is that the controls when you're on keyboard are a little bit difficult. They're not exactly intuitive, at least for me they're not. However, once you get used to them, it's pretty easy to pick up on the pattern. So, you just have to know which buttons to hit when. It involves a little bit more hand movement than if you were just playing on a controller. So for anyone coming into this just learning how to play video games, or just, you're not used to this style of game, or maybe you're just not used to using it on the keyboard, I suggest starting off with a controller that you are most comfortable with. So then you can edit participants, you can restart the match, and you can exit the match, which we are going to go ahead and do. Alrighty, so that's training. In a 2-on-2, I'm just going to very briefly show you what the 2-on-2 matches look like. So yeah, basically what's going on here is you're going to have your typical tag match. What you want to do is you want to try and keep your opponent away from the, you want to try and keep them away from their tag partner. Obviously, you got Jade there. Get out of my way, Jade. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Another thing that I love, that I think a lot of people had questions about, was if you can do intergender matches, and absolutely. In fact, intergender matches are part of the story mode. You fight whoever they put you in to fight. So, like, my custom character obviously is a man. I fought, did I fight Riho? Who did I fight? I think I fought Hikaru Shida. Stop it. Moxley, stop it. I'm trying to show the people that I'm decent at this game. God damn it. Alright, well, stop hurting me. I'm little... Ugh. Grappling, see, it's cool, but it's difficult, because I need to, like, remember how to grapple out of things. Come on, wake up. Get out of here. Oh god, Jade's strong. Jade's strong, Jade's strong, Jade's strong is the issue, just that Jade's strong. No, let me back up. Oh my god. Anyway. So, yeah, it's a really cool mechanic. It's really hard for me to do things. Okay, here's how you get out of a pin. You mash J, I, K, and L. That's pretty similar to some of the mechanics in the other WWE games, so that's something that old gamers should be used to. And then real quick, I'm going to show you, well, once I get her back down on the ground, I am going to show you what it looks like to tag your partner. You're just going to walk over to them, you're going to hit N, and then the computer's going to jump in. And then you have the opportunity to attack as a tag team. Alright, and so that's basically a lot of the matches. You've got the 4-way match, where it's basically the same thing as the tag match, but of course, you don't have a tag team. It's all 4 of you in there, and then it's a little bit difficult because if someone starts to get a pin on someone else, which I'm going to show you right now, and you're going to see just how bad I am at it, you need to make sure that you really have your switching target mechanic right. You need to make sure you're in the right place in the ring. You want to make sure that you are... How the hell of a match this would be, then? Eddie, let's put Eddie in here. But yeah, you need to make sure you understand where you are in the ring. You need to make sure that you're targeting the correct person, because you want to break up pins, which I found is one of the more difficult things to do in this game. Apologies that I'm skipping the intros. I'm going to go over that when I kind of show you guys what the... Why are you fighting me? Oh, because we're in a match. Alright, get Eddie out of there. Come on. So as you can see, it's kind of just turmoil. So right now, I'm attacking Eddie. But if I want to switch to Jungle Boy, I hit Q, and then you switch your target. And this is on keyboard, I'm not sure what it is. And God, stop beating me up! I'm small. So yeah, so basically in the Fatal 4-Way matches, it's a pretty simple mechanic where you want to get all 3 of your opponents down. Or at least you want to ensure that you are pinning someone far away from the other opponent so that they can't get to you by the time that you are attempting to pin your opponent. So right now I've got Brian pretty low. Ow, come on. Get up, get up. But let me show you what'll happen if you don't have your opponent low enough. Come on, come on. Q. Let's switch over so I can do my signature. Alright, now I've got Brian down there, and I give him a V trigger. I want to hit my finisher on him, so I do a taunt. And then I want to grapple him and get a finisher in. And I was just pinned. So the reason the other 2 didn't come in and attack is because it was one computer covering me. I've noticed that if a computer covers you, the other 2 aren't going to do a whole lot. But if it's you, obviously, you want to make sure that either you have all 3 of them down on the ground, beaten to a pulp, or you want to make sure that the other 2 are outside of the ring, too far away to get to you by the time that you get the 3 count. We're going to go ahead and exit that match. My pride has been sufficiently wounded. Alright, so online, you can do a ranked match, which is a match against other people. Obviously, it's ranked. Think of like any other video game that you've played. You can do a casual online match as well, which is you getting matched up with, again, another stranger online just to have a match. Or you can have a private match. This is probably going to be the more popular one because you can go ahead and play with your friends. Once I've convinced my roommate to download the game, I am hoping to beat his ass. Custom. So, custom, let's actually start with arena. You can make your own custom arena. What this looks like is, and I'm just going to show you briefly. So yeah, you can create your own arena. You can base it off of any template you want. So you can have, you know, let's just do AEW Dynamite. You can adjust the settings, so what the name of the arena is, what the matchup screen looks like, what the transitions look like when you're going between wrestlers. You can adjust what your ring looks like. So, the ropes, you can adjust the color. Like, you can go in depth on this, man. Just look at all these options. You can change the lighting, the stage, and the ramp. I mean, it is incredible the amount of things that you can customize in this game. And of course, all of this is with the context of this is their first video game. They don't necessarily have anything to build off of. This is the foundation. So, what we're going to do, we're going to exit out of that, and I'm going to show you more of the custom options. So, team is self-explanatory. You can just put any wrestlers together in any form of team that you want. So you can modify a team that may already exist in the game, or a team that you have already created, or you can create a new team. I think that's self-explanatory. I don't feel the need to go through that. Let's go to your custom wrestler. So you can make a new male wrestler, a new female wrestler, or you can modify a wrestler. So let's look at the male wrestlers. Now with this custom mode, if you come into it comparing it to a WWE game, you're going to be a little bit disappointed because there aren't as many options. However, I kind of like that you don't have a Elder Scrolls Skyrim level amount of options, because it lets you really just focus on, I want to create a guy without having to nitpick at every little thing, without having all these sliders that are going to make it weird. Now, that being said, I do hope that they end up improving this to come out with sliders, just because I know that that's a lot of people's preference. They want to be able to go in and do the details. So that's something that is missing from this right now. But, you know, you can have the usual, you can customize their name, the name that's displayed when they go into a match, the name that's called out, social media handle, you can control the crowd reaction, their birthday, their hometown, what weapon that they'll pull out from under the ring, their typical pose, and their voice. So that's pretty typical of these video games. Now, looking at their face type, again, you don't have any sliders, so you've got just these options to choose from, which, honestly, it's not that bad. I feel like they have a variety of options to choose from, and there's just enough customization where you can really make it your own. So you can adjust the eyes, so what's the left eye look like? You can change the pupil, it can be blind, you can do a whole cane thing or a CD kind of thing. Looking at the hair options, there aren't a whole ton of hair options again, but, you know, they're all so drastically different that I feel like if you have a style in mind, you can find something relatively close to it. Though this is one of the things that I hope they add sliders to, because I feel like hair is very unique to a wrestler. And especially if you're someone who has natural hair, so, you know, if you've got curly hair, coily hair, you only really have these two options. So, like, if you're black, you can have an afro, or you can have dreadlocks. And there aren't even braids, at least for the men. The women have pretty similar options, though. So that's something that I'm hoping that they're able to expand later on. I'm sure that they're going to. And then facial hair, you have a couple of options for facial hair. You can have the Stanley from The Office. Look at all this. And then you can change the color of that as well. Looking at the body I think is the one that I kind of was a little bit disappointed in, because you really can't change it that much. You can have Kenny Omega's body type, Eddie Kingston, Jungle Boy, or just a straight up guy. So, you know, it's not super detailed. I feel like they probably could have had more body types for the men, but, you know, it is what it is. But in that, you can customize some things, like you can customize the amount of body hair that they have, what the body hair looks like. You can control the body settings, which will kind of act as the only sliders in this game, and will help you customize outside of the fewer options that are allowed for the body. So you can control the height, you can make them pretty tall, you can make them pretty short. You can control the amount of fat on their body, though that doesn't really change too much. You can mostly see it in their waist. You can control the amount of muscle that they have, which basically, from what I can tell, changes the definition and how veiny the arms are. I mean, look at those veins, dude. That's insane. And then you can change their weight. Once you're done with that, you can go to ring attire. Ring attire, so things like headwear. As you can see, there are going to be these purchases in the app, but thankfully they're not actual money. This is money that you earn in the game from winning matches. So, you know, you've got a whole lot of hats. I noticed that in the game they really put a lot of countries' flags in here, so, like, this will pop up again for, like, the t-shirts. So I guess if you want someone who's just, like, really... Also, Stinger, like, I don't know why there's so many of those hats. Stingray Stingers. But, actually, you know what? I think that changes based on where you say that your hometown is. But, yeah, basically, you know, a couple choices for headwear. And then you can do glasses, couple choices for glasses here. Masks. Masks, I feel like, are a little bit sparse. As for accessories, you've got piercings, you've got this nose guy, you've got horns. Again, a lot of these are piercings, and a lot of these are things that you can buy. I've purchased quite a few of them already. Face paint. Again, face paint is a little bit limited as compared to other games, but, you know, like I've said before, you can customize it enough where if you have something in mind, you can probably create it. And then scars. Scars are just, you know, your typical scars. Upper body, you know, you've got some options here. I won't go through all of them for you, but, you know, as you can see, they give you enough to customize the wrestler to the point where it's not just a, you know, your normal character that might just show up in any preset, but, you know, it may not be all the options that you're looking for. Bodysuits, actually, I do want to show you the bodysuits because this is horrifying and I don't like it, but I'm going to make them wear it. You know, body paint, tattoos, again, a little bit limited. Mostly just really shitty tribal tattoos. Like, all of it is shitty tribal tattoos. I don't know why it's all just either tribal tattoos or, like, I don't know why. Why so many tribal tattoos, AEW? Can we get something else? Please? I'm begging you? Anyway. Yeah, so that's how you can adjust their ring attire, entrance attire. This is just going to be regular street clothes. So, you know, you've got different shirts. You've got a lot of merch shirts, which I think was smart. Street clothes, again, same deal. You know, you've got your masks, you've got your accessories, face, scars, you know, what have you. Movesets. Now, this is really what I want to show you. So the cool thing with the movesets is there's so goddamn many of them. I mean, I'm about to show you, you know, you've got your signatures, and you can have, you know, you need to be at a certain level in order to get other signatures. So, for instance, this will say, you don't have signature slots level 2 skill equipped. So you need to equip that to your character. But you can have signatures, finishers, taunts, and desperation impulses. Now, base moves. Let's look at base moves. High strikes. There's so many. There's so many, and this is one of 4 front strikes that you're going to be able to do. So you've got all of these to choose from. Now hold on. You've got combinations that you can choose from. Front strong strike. You've got all of these that you can choose from. You've got low strikes, and these are just standing strikes. Like, this is one, like, maybe 1/5 of what you're able to do. So you can choose all of these for, like, standing strikes, standing grapples, running attacks, top rope dives, springboards, topes. You can look at corner stunned attacks, front corner chain, rope chain. Like, it is incredible the amount of moves that you can look at. Like, you've got, I mean, just, it's so many that you can create probably, like, hundreds of original characters and give them all a completely different and unique moveset. And it is awesome. I mean, this part just really, really impressed me, because I feel like this is the hardest part to make in a video game, is what all of these strikes are going to look like. But yeah, so, like, I mean, there's just a ton. And then you've got just, like, a shit ton of taunts. Look at this. Look at these. Look at all these taunts. You can make taunts from your own wrestlers. You can make taunts from wrestlers that already exist. Look at all this. This is insane. I mean, what the hell? And we're not at the bottom yet. We're not at the bottom yet. Look, there's so many taunts. And that brings me to the other thing that there's just a hilarious amount of things for, which is your entrance scene. The entrance scene can be perfectly customized. And honestly, and this may be an unpopular opinion, I like this one more than the way that the WWE games do theirs, because I feel like the WWE games give you, again, too many options. You choose how your character walks out, how they walk down the ramp, how they enter the ring, what they do once they get into the ring. It's a lot of moving parts. I want something cool that I can make custom, that's something contained, and I really like the way that they do this. So your entrance motion, again, like, yeah, you're just controlling how they walk out onto the entrance, but fucking look how many options you have to choose from. If I had this many options for multiple movesets, for multiple appearances in the entrance, I would spend 4 hours on this. I would have to spend 4 hours on this if you want to ensure that you are making exactly what you want to make. Like, look at all of this. And, yes, of course, you can have them do the entrance of any of the characters that are included in the game, like fucking Owen Hart. You can have it with Brody Lee. You can have Lance Archer, Chris Stat. You can have, so many people. Plus, a lot of these are like general male, quote unquote. These are a lot of the movesets that are going to be pretty close to the moves that your favorite wrestlers who maybe weren't included in the game usually do. So again, it is kind of disappointing that there aren't a lot of preset wrestlers in here, but I mean, you can create your own wrestler if you really want to play them that bad. Now we look down at advanced settings. You can change the motion if they have a title belt. You can give them a hand gesture, a prop, a champion gesture, a champion prop. You can create filters and effects for when they walk out. The music, there's a hilarious amount of music to choose from. Look at all of this. This is insane. And this is what I spent most of my time on when I was doing Character Creator, to be completely honest. And then the video, again, of course, it's a classic. You can change your entrance video to one of the wrestlers who already exist in the game. You can use one of Kenny Omega's many entrances. And then you could also just have it exist as, the typical Rampage entrance, full gear entrance, etc. Now, moving on to Road to Elite, this is their career mode. The career mode isn't very, it isn't like the WWE game. Again, so if you come into this game thinking, I want a similar experience to the other Ukes games that they have produced for WWE, you are not going to get that. This is... It's not that it's not story-driven, right? It's just not super story-driven. There are different routes that you can take. There are different ways that you can treat your character. You can up different stats. You can control, like, who they're gonna be. And essentially, the point of this game is you are playing 1 year in AEW as your career. And you'll see that it has blocks. It'll kind of start here. Now, I'm not going to show you beyond this because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But basically, this is kind of how you start. And then I'm going to skip real quick, and I'm going to show you what it looks like at the beginning screen. So, this is kind of what your screen is going to look like when you do different quote-unquote blocks. There are, I believe, 4 turns in a block? I don't know. Whatever. Essentially, you're going to be doing a series of blocks, and those blocks are kind of like, this is what happens at the beginning of the year, starting at Double or Nothing, ending the year, and you can control what happens within that year to an extent. So as you can see here, you've got 4 turns. In those 4 turns, you can do things like dining out, you can do things like working out, going to the hospital, and all of that is going to adjust these stats up here. So, you know, you can look at your wrestler's stats, you can customize your wrestler in this, you can look at your career record. In the shop, you can purchase different things. So you can up your skill points, and using money to do that and not use a turn. So the shop is very important. You want to make sure that you visit this before you end your turn. At the end of every turn, it's just going to say, like, go to Dynamite, and then you're going to start whatever match you're going to have on Dynamite. So you want to make sure that you look in the store. This is a pretty cool mechanic, so that, you know, you aren't super dependent on turns. Again, and then you can change the difficulty here. So you've got easy, normal, hard, elite. But yeah, so that's pretty much what this is going to look like. I won't go too into it, because I know a lot of people actually want to, like, go in and experience, but it's pretty cool. You get to take different photos with different characters if you are, like, friends with them enough. You have the option to tag at one point with whoever you want, so it isn't that bad. I like it. It's not as in-depth as I want it to be, but I can see how all of this is a strong foundation to build up towards a better story mode. And then you've got challenges. So these are basically just, like, as you can see, timed challenges. And it'll give you just a different kind of AEW cash. And, you know, you can see that there's, like, weekly challenges that you can do, so it's just another reason to want to play, like, the training and the exhibitions, because those count towards this. And then normal challenges, so, you know, defeat 50 computer characters, etc., things like that. Alright, and we are going to end with the shop. So the shop, when you are creating your character, you can buy, you know, the different outfits. I already showed you that. But you can also just go into the shop and look at everything that is up for sale. So this will be everything that you'll see when you're creating your character that is locked behind this in-game currency. And you can just, you know, look at them all here. You don't have to go into Character Creator to buy all of them, which I think is pretty cool. So, oh, no, come on. There we go. And so you can look at, you can buy things for your custom arena. I mean, like, there's some insane shit here. You can buy a horse. You can buy a bull. A dog. You can buy a lot of shit. You can buy moves. You can buy little, like, things like taunts. You can buy things for your entrance. More items you can buy, and so I've already purchased all of these. So you can buy Cody Rhodes, you can buy Aubrey, you can buy Matt and Nick Jackson's attire here. You can buy Britt Baker's attire, and then you can buy the option to use Elite difficulty. I have not used this. I bought it to tell myself that maybe someday I'll be able to. But yeah, so that is, like, the most comprehensive, quick overview that I can give of this game and kind of what my opinions are on it. You can like it, you can hate it. I recommend not going into it, comparing it to a WWE game. I know that I said that I was going to be doing that throughout this, but it was just to kind of gauge people's expectations of what this game is going to look like. This is kind of a wrestling game all of its own. So it's not going to have all the options and all the crazy things that the WWE games currently have. But what it does have is it has a lot of heart. It has a lot of really cool combat mechanics. Actually doing the matches, it's very fun. You know, I think Kenny said it when he was promoting the game, but it's an easy game to pick up and just start playing. It's a very difficult game to master. So I can see a lot of people putting in a lot of time trying to master this game and trying to understand how the different combinations work and understanding how to, you know, all the moving parts that exist in a lot of these matches that are genuinely very difficult. You know, you've got different stats with someone, like if you're fighting Chuck Taylor versus if you're fighting Big Show, or Paul Wright, sorry, whatever. But yeah, like I said, this is really fun for, if you're like me, just getting this video game because you want to support AEW, because you like AEW, if you think it's fun, it's a really good base game. And, if you get it and you're like, well, I kind of want a little bit more, just understand that this is their first video game, and this is kind of very good. They've given themselves a very strong foundation to build off of. So things can be added on, and characters are going to be added in. But yeah, for right now, that's all that I have to say about it. I might come back to this if they end up doing any DLCs, if they end up giving us any updates. I'll try and keep on top of that. But just for right now, that's this. I recommend this video game. I think even if you're not great at video games, you're going to have a really fun time with it. If you are really good at video games, you're going to have a fun time trying to master this. But with that being said, I give this, I've never rated games before. What am I doing giving it stars? I give this 5 stars. Fuck you. I like this game. Alright? Whatever.